Hi, I'm Kirby Allison, and I'm very excited to be here today in Mexico City with an absolutely legendary cigar connoisseur, collector, Max Gutmann, also the exclusive importer of cigars into Mexico, and the creator of two absolute unicorn cigars, the Edmundo Dantes Conde 109 and the Edmundo Dantes Conde 54. And two cigars that have really had an incredible impact just on my own personal journey into Cuban cigars, because Max, it was in 2012 that I was here in New Year's with my wife that I stumbled upon the Conde 54 at the La Casa del Habano in Polanco.
Yeah.
And it was just by happenstance that the woman working the shop at that day, recommended it to me when I asked for something interesting. And I still remember smoking that cigar on New Year's. I mean, it was a transcendental experience that changed everything for me. So Max, thank you so much for having me. But I thought it would be interesting to start with the Edmundo Dantes. What was the story of those cigars? How did they begin?
Well, first of all, thank you for coming here, and thank you for being in Mexico City. I mean, this is your house, and I hope you have a great time in Mexico.
Lovely city.
Back to the cigars, in the year 2000, Habanos decided to start a program that's called the regional brands. So that is, each distributor of the world could have made some special cigars for them that were not in the first part of the pyramid of the brands. Like, you could not make Cohiba, you could not make Hoyo de Monterrey, you could not make the top brands.
Yeah.
So from there down, you could decide what you wanted and send your proposal to Habanos. Then they will have a committee to decide whether they agreed or not agreed. And you were supposed to buy at least, it was 6,000 cigars. Or in some cases, you could order some more with the possibility of reordering a second time.
Okay.
So we decided to do our regional cigar with one that was called the 109.
Yeah.
The 109 is a cigar that came in 1995, in September 19, in an auction in Cuba, where they had the 150th anniversary of Partagas. And the Humidor had 50 cigars, 50 Coronas, 50 Robustos, and 50 109s. The 109s had not been produced in many, many, many years. But I was able to find a humidor of that, and I started smoking the 109s, and I really enjoyed the cigar.
Okay.
Being a smoker of Partagas most of my life and double Coronas, this 109, although it's a little smaller, I like the way the head is. They call it cabeza truncada, which is, by the way, a very difficult cigar to make. It's not as easy as people would think so. It's a very complicated. So in 2007, we came with our first regional cigar, was called El Conde 109. This Edmundo Dantes from the novela The Count of Monte Cristo, which is the main character.
Yeah.
We decided to come with that name.
And how, why that name and not Monte Cristo?
Because it's not Monte Cristo. It's a variety. It's not a Monte Cristo.
But Edmundo Dantes has never been done.
It was never made done. It's a first time it came out with the name Edmundo Dantes.
But that's really quite exceptional for the regional program, because in the regionals, the distributors are normally choosing a brand that is already existing within the Habanos portfolio,
which are not in the top level. But we decided for the name Conde 109, Conde de Montecristo, and Cuba accepted it. So we went ahead and did the 109.
And what does Conde mean?
Conde is the Count.
The Count.
It's a story of the Count of Montecristo.
Okay.
Who was the famous book of the Count of Montecristo. So we first made 600 boxes, was the first batch that came out in 2007. And as you can see, I think that the cigar, with the time, like I've been telling you many times, cigars get better with age. Age really gives them the benefit of all the cigars. Not like with age we go downhill.
I think we get better with age too. You're an example of aging well.
Cigar gets really better with the age. So these were the 109s. First, we made 600 boxes, and it was very, very, very well accepted. So next year, we made another 600 boxes. And that's about it. You cannot make more than that. Cuba does not allow you to make more cigars than that. So this is the first one we did.
And the double Corona, I mean, it's a big cigar.
It's a big cigar.
And as you say with the 109, I mean, it's a small, seemingly insignificant difference between a torpedo and just the drop head.
Yeah,
but the difference in the mouthfeel, especially if you're someone that enjoys to kind of play with your cigar,
of course,
is different.
Yeah, it's different. I mean, and you turn it around, and it has a special feeling, a special difference. And let me tell you, these cigars were made with the same molds that they made with the 150 anniversary Partagas, which was in '95.
Amazing.
And ever since then, they haven't done any cigars like this. So they had this old molds, and that's where these cigars were made, with the old molds.
Amazing. So,
and then we came out after this Edmundo Dantes 109. We came out with the second that was called Edmundo Conde 54.
Okay.
Which is, it's actually the same Conde, but with a different size.
Mm-hmm.
This time we made it in a ring 54. You can see?
Yeah.
And I think it's a delicious cigar. Actually, would you like to try one?
Yes. Well, I mean, I could never refuse. I mean, this cigar, Max, I mean, I have to say, this is a really surreal moment to be sitting here smoking this with you. Because this cigar, as I said, you know, really was just transcendental for me. It was the first time, I mean, all Cuban cigars are amazing, but there's some Cuban cigars that somehow just through magic end up being extraordinary. And I think this was the first, you know, not to say that my other cigars weren't extraordinary, but whenever I smoked this, it was like magic. And I remember going onto the internet afterwards and Googling, you know, the story of the Conde 54, you know, to learn more about what it was I just enjoyed so much. And I found some of your interviews with Cigar Aficionado speaking about this. And it was at that moment that I first learned of the Partagas Lusitania, one of your favorite cigars. And I think it was after reading that I bought my first cabinet of 50 from Edición at Davidoff of London, because I just loved how eloquently you spoke of the luxury of smoking a double Corona like the Partagas Lusitania in the middle of the afternoon.
And if you have the opportunity of having box of 50s, I think that the cigars age better, mature better, and they really, I think, there's a little difference when you smoke a box of 50 and you let it age than if you smoke, obviously, a cigar that's brand new. I mean, obviously, the maturing makes a big difference.
Yeah. So speak to me a little bit, I mean, why the Conde 54? I mean, it's 54 ring gauge, I imagine. Is
54 ring gauge.
Which at that time would have been quite large because the Bejiques hadn't come out yet.
The Bejique hadn't come up yet.
And prior to that, I mean, I can't think of anything prior to the Bejiques that anything existed within the Habanos portfolio, you know, really pushing a 50 ring gauge.
No,
I'm sure that's wrong, but
I think,
sure there's an exception.
No, but wait. If I'm not wrong, the Bejique came out in the year 2010.
10, okay.
2010.
So this was just after that.
Just after they came with the Bejique. So it's because of the Bejique that came, that was also a fantastic cigar, very difficult to get. That's why we decided to make a ring like that.
Okay.
Because in those times, people liked big rings.
Yeah, but this was the beginning of that trend towards larger ring gauges that we still see today. Wow, amazing. I think I smoked this cigar whenever I've hit 100,000 subscribers on YouTube. I was saving it, you know, my special, you know, celebratory cigar. So this is a moment of celebration, Max.
Well, no, celebrate. Let's celebrate till we have 1 million.
Yes, well.
And then we'll smoke the 109 and the 54 together. I mean, in a lunch or in a dinner.
You know, this cigar, again, is widely considered, you know, by cigar aficionados as a unicorn. I mean, it's one of those just absolutely famous, you know, almost elusive cigars that if you weren't there whenever these were released, because as you said, there really weren't that many boxes released, that few people have really had a privilege of smoking, and it's delicious. So, I mean, how was it that you worked with Habanos to come to this blend? Was there anything that inspired you, or was it just an example of Cuba doing Cuba, where they?
It's Cuba doing Cuba, because once we came out with the thing of the name, the El Conde, they were making different samples of the tobacco, and we tried some of the tobacco, and you know, like they always do, and we decided for this particular blend that, I mean, we don't know exactly how they do it because it's something that's like a secret for them. But we said, this is what we like, and that's what we got. And I think it's very, 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 very good. I mean, I have...
You're still happy with it after all these years?
I beg your pardon?
You're still happy with it after all these years?
Yeah. And I don't smoke it very often because also I don't have that many cigars left. There's not too many left. So just in special occasions like being with you now, I'm happy to smoke it, but not as a regular cigar because, you know, you don't have enough.
Wow.
Great taste.
How would you describe the taste? I find that my olfactory is not as attuned as those, you know.
Well, it has a very nice draw. It goes easily very good because it's a thick cigar. I find it a little like sweet in the beginning, but very, very agreeable to your palate. You know, it's like it's telling you, come on. I mean, it's smoke me, because I mean it's so good.
And it's an example of a cigar that has age. I mean, there's a certain balance and mellowness to it. There's no pepper, it's not spicy, it's not tight. And there's a subtlety to, you know, some of these slightly softer notes that, you know, you don't find on a new cigar.
Definitely, no, like you say, salty, no chocolatey either. Just smooth and great.
I mean, this is extraordinary. What are some of the other regionals? Because these weren't the last two regionals. These were the first two that you did. And you followed this with another Edmundo Dantes.
Yeah, we made the third one was the Edmundo Dantes Belicosos, which was a torpedo cigar.
So similar to the Boulevard Belicosos.
Like the Boulevard Belicoso. And then we made that was for the Conde, for the Edmundo Dantes.
Yeah.
And then we did a Punch Duque.
Okay.
And then we ended up with the Ramon Ayones, that's figurado. And that was the last regional we did.
Okay.
Now we're working with a new one.
What do you think what are your thoughts on?
We are still pending, we're negotiating to see if Habanos accepts it. And, you know, we have to wait for the committee decision. And then we go.
Yeah. What have been some of your other favorite regional releases, you know, through the years? I mean, as someone that has had an incredible...
You know, I enjoyed very much the one that England produced. I liked very much the La Reina, which is a kind like a Trinidad Fundador.
Yeah.
But 38 range instead of 40. I think that was a beautiful cigar. It smoked very, very nice.
Beautiful presentation in the box.
No, the box one, it's very, very elegant. It's like a Fundador. It's in a beautiful box, an elegant cigar. You touch it, you see it. It's like velvet. It's really extraordinary. And they have also the Ramon Alones that they came out with. That was very good.
And then they just did the private stock. No, it was the private stock 230, and then it was. Are you speaking the Ramon Alones 225th?
The 225th. Yeah. The 225th. Yeah.
Yeah, that was the first box, I guess, of the UK regionals I purchased. Again, it had a 109 head. Yeah. Which is very interesting. Probably inspired by your 109 that you did.
Yeah, and now but some of the regionals are coming with 109s.
Yeah.
Because I think that people want a little change, you know. I mean, you love cigars, you love enjoying everything, but if you change a little bit, like putting a trumpet head, it's different. So people are looking for different things all the time.
But one of the interesting things about Cuban cigars and Habanos is that culture of connoisseurship and collecting, right? I mean, you don't see that in New World cigars, but I think that Habanos has done a really incredible job over the years, of course, not just producing fantastic cigars, but really indulging their customers, the connoisseurs with these interesting limited edition and regional releases. And so let's talk about that a little bit because, I mean, Max, you've had an incredible kind of life. I mean, I hesitate to say career. I mean, you've been in the business, but really you've had this incredible life of Cuban cigars. I mean, you've been doing this now. You opened La Casa de Habana in 1990. You had the distributor since 92. And so you would have, I guess, just celebrated 2 years ago, your 30th anniversary.
Correct.
You know, but even before that, you were smoking.
Yeah, I was smoking, and I really got into the cigar smoking.
Out of a passion.
The passion for the cigar. I mean, I really have the passion, and all the time I'm trying to find something new to smoke, and I enjoy very much when they come with limited editions, or special humidors, or special jars, or anything that they do special. And I mean, I have to tell you, in the last years, they're coming really with incredible products.
Yeah.
Incredible products. Not that before not, because they had, for example, in 2000, they came out with the century jars.
Okay.
One was Monte Cristo, one was Cohiba, and one was Cubaba.
Okay.
Some ceramic jars to celebrate the 2000, año 2000, and they were excellent cigars. Yeah. Also in a limited edition, limited production, but those cigars also have gotten incredibly better with the time.
Well, let's talk. I mean, one of the things I think that's fascinating is that you've been collecting now for over 30 years. And you have an incredible humidor, an incredible collection, right? And you've been collecting very intentionally and very passionately. And, through your collection, in some ways, you're telling the history of Cuban cigars through the cigars themselves, right? Because you still have them. And I was hoping that maybe you could pull a few things, out of your collection to show us and speak to, again, this kind of history of Cuban cigars as you've lived over the last 30, 40 years.
Yeah, I would love to. I mean, if you allow me,
please.
I will.
I'll set these down. We'll make room so we can make room.
Well, one of the best, not the beauty of the humidor itself, but the tobacco inside, it's the 1492 that they made. It was made to celebrate the 500th anniversary of the discovery of America. This humidor, they only made 501 humidors. 501 because one support is in the Museum of Tobacco in Cuba, and they sold 500 humidors to the distributors. This is made out of a cherry wood. And another way,
get the key inside.
But compared to the humidors they make today, which are incredibly sophisticated, this is a very, very simple.
But it speaks to the subtlety that
Yeah, simple is fantastic, and the cigar is outstanding. So this cigar has the thing that each humidor has 50 cigars. Every cigar is numbered in the band. Okay. So let's say every band. So if you had humidor number 1, the band is from 01 to 50. The number 2 goes from 52 to 100. So each humidor, you take off the bands and they number, which is I think the only humidor still up today.
Yeah.
Except the Cohiba 40th anniversary.
Okay.
The Hickey 40th anniversary, they also numbered each cigar.
Yeah.
But since then.
But this was cutting edge. I mean, it was very ahead of its time in '92.
Nobody even thought that. Why number the cigars? I mean, what was the? No, but I think it was a great idea. And now you wish you would have more things like this because it becomes like more of a collectible piece.
Yeah. And what's interesting about this is that, a lot of the other, limited edition releases, they're all branded. But this doesn't have a brand. It's a product of Cuba, of the country, which I think makes this even more rare and special. Yeah, amazing.
So only, I tell you, 500 were sold to the distributors and then obviously to the world.
Let me see. Yeah, so 1992, we commemorate the magical date of the 500 years encounter of two cultures, which would have been the Spanish and the native Cubans, as well as the discovery of tobacco in the old continent. And we did this big series on Trinidad. One of the things I think is really fascinating is that, it was the tobacco that was first seen as one of the great discoveries of Columbus's expedition here. And for this event, we produced the enclosed humidifier box. Its exclusive design is limited to 501. The 501 will be shown at the National Museum of Tobacco in La Habana, which I've never been to. I think they closed it to do some renovation.
Yeah, they are renovating.
Wow. Tradition has also been taken into account in the design of the cigar bands, combining shapes and colors from the past with distinguished and stylish graphics mainly focused to emphasize the logo, which is also on the box cover. Wow. Amazing. Unbelievable. And so was this released as part of a dinner or a celebration, or was it just really released kind of through the distributors?
No, I don't recall that there was a dinner for this. It just came out that they were celebrating the 500th anniversary, and they were issuing the humidors. But I do not recall that there was a dinner for this. Maybe there was something in Cuba that they did, but I really don't recall it. But then, after this humidor was made, in '94, Habanos came up with a new humidor, which I will show you. And it's 2 years later, Habanos came out with this humidor called 1994. Again, it has no name of the cigar. It's a cigar made by Habanos. There's a little sticker which says the story about it. It's also only 50 cigars. And again, there's no brand. The brand is Habanos.
Yeah.
And it's also a very special humidor because, again, they only made 500 of these humidors.
Yeah.
And the cigar is also, excellent. It would be difficult to say which is better, if you like more the 4092 or the 1994, it's...
Talk to me a little bit, I've never smoked either of these. These are absolutely, legendary cigars, right, that have a mystique around them, right? What is it that made this cigar so great? Did they really smoke that much better? Was there a special tobacco? Is it the mystique of just the moment of celebration?
I think that part of the idea is that it's a very, very special selection of cigars. It's only 500 boxes, but the blend they use for this is sensational. And I guess because, they only made 500 and it cannot be repeated. They will not come, or they will never come or have done anything similar to 1994. This is maybe one part of a crop that they got. And the people, the master producers, they know, okay, this is enough just to make so many, and we cannot repeat it. And that's why they've never repeated this cigar, neither the 4092 nor the 1994. And it's a cigar that people are looking for, and try to buy them. And there might be some even left cigars in several bars, cigar bars over the world. Probably in London, because London, I think, is a place where there's more people that know much about tobacco, and they're really enjoying it. And it's an international place where people go and want specialties. Yeah. And this is a specialty.
And look at how beautifully and perfectly those cigars are placed in the box, with all the labels just perfectly symmetrical. Again, this is the attention to detail that Habanos, not only in the selection of the colors, so that everything in a box is presenting with the same shade, but even the presentation of the bands
20 years old, 20 years ago, this is 20-year-old.
Wow.
We have to put him a candle and make a party for them.
Yes. Amazing. And that same year was the dinner of the century, which we've spoken about, with of course, Trinidad. That was the first time that Trinidad Fundadoras, had, really ever been offered to the public. And, you've got a very interesting history, with Trinidad, having, not only been there for the dinner of the century, but also having been selected by Habanos to receive the first shipment of Trinidad Fundadoras in 1998.
1998, yes. They produced 2,000 boxes, and we were lucky enough to be the first place where to launch them. We had already a very nice big party. And everybody really loved the cigars, because everybody had it in mind, Trinidad, everybody was looking for it. It was like screaming with the people, when can I get it? Where can I get it? So, the people came from many places just to go and buy one cigar in the stores because they said it's incredible. I mean, they wanted to try. What is Trinidad so spectacular about? Because it was like a secret, like a magic thing you could not get, and everybody wanted to get it. So.
And how long was it that you had that exclusivity before those cigars could be found, say, in London?
I think it probably must have been, I don't know, 6 months, 8 months before they started the production.
So you were receiving a lot of phone calls, from your friends around the world.
And people were asking, at the time it was not the internet.
Yeah.
We didn't have the internet or that. But people were calling to see if we have Trinidad, if we have Trinidad. And then, so from word to word, people found out. So a lot of people came to the States that fly to Mexico commonly, and then they were making an effort to come to be able to buy 1, 2, whatever they could of Trinidad and enjoy them.
Absolutely. What else? So that's 1994 Trinidad, right? And I mean, what an exciting decade the 90s were, for cigars, for Cuban cigars, because you had the formation of Habanos, which gave a kind of professional marketing structure. And then helped, through the partnership with the Spanish, give marketing resources to the Cubans. What were some of the other kind of interesting and great releases that you saw come out over that decade?
I'll tell you, to close the century, the 1900s, Cuba made also, to celebrate the year 2000, 3 special things. They made the jars, 3 jars with 25 cigars each, celebrating Cohiba, Montecristo, and Cuava. This is the jar for Montecristo, Robusto cigar, hecho en Cuba, and all the cigars have like a little humidifier. You can put water. It has the lamina where it tells you about the cigar. And the cigar itself, again, has no brand. This was the Montecristo. This was the Montecristo. But all the band is 2000 because they were launched to celebrate the changing of the century.
Yeah.
It's a Robusto.
So these Habanos and their exclusive vitolas have been created especially to commemorate the arrival of a new millennia as a tribute by Habanos S.A. to smokers all over the world. What an indulgence. And an eternal recognition of the thousands of experts participating in the ancestral tradition, which is creating Habanos, which I think is important, right? Is again that tradition of tobacco, which predated the arrival of the Spanish to the New World. And that has been a very important cultural element in Latin America, since the beginning, of time, really.
Yes.
And, Habanos, I think, really honors that. I mean, the Cubans, of course, and then Habanos, do such a fantastic job kind of honoring that legacy in producing these absolutely incredible masterpieces.
Yeah, absolutely. Cuava Distinguidos, also a box of 25s.
That's a massive jar.
Yeah.
And you can see the age of the jar. I mean,
yeah. These are Distinguidos.
And so this is what we would expect from Cuaba, which are all figurados.
Yeah. All the Cuavas are done like this, which is also, again, not an easy thing to do. It's figurado is not an easy cigar to do. It's not that you have to have a certain level of dexterity to be able to make these cigars.
And when you consider that, again, they're being rolled completely by hand. So it's the touch of the torcedor of the amount of tobacco in order to create that shape.
Everything, like I told you, from the seed, the moment they put the seed until you smoke the cigar, there's over 270 operations. Everything by hand, everything by hand. So this is the Distinguidos. And also they had a little humidifier here.
How do you think cigars age in jars, do you think?
I think cigars with the right climate, they are good. But you have to give them the right climate. You can have the best cigar in the world, 65 to 68 humidity, and 14, 16 degrees in Celsius. The cigar will stay. I have cigars that are over 100 years old. I have pre-Castro cigars. And then I says well kept, and they're like they were made yesterday.
Yeah.
But it does takes care. You have to take care of them, and they take care of you. That's what I always say.
Yeah.
You take care of them, and they will take care of you. They pay you back all the effort you go to taking care of them and checking them. And when I come to my house every night, I tell my wife, I'm here. I'm going down to see my babies. And I come in and I check them and I talk to them like, ladies talk to the plants to grow. I talk to my guys.
It's your cigars,
and
guys.
I open boxes at random and I see how they are. And I said, you're good, I'm good. So we're all
Do you come
friends.
down here every evening?
Yeah. Come just to say hello.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And then the third one is the one that they made for the Cohiba pyramids. Like that, but it doesn't have the band of Cohiba, It does not have the band of Cohiba. It has the band of the 2000. But the jar has, that's what it is. Because normally we have the band, but this is...
And look at the torpedo. I mean, it's a very pointed...
It's a very pointed...
even more so than what you would see...
Yeah, it's not a regular. It's like, I think it's a special, the pyramid that they made for this. Because they have the pyramid extra, they have different things, but I think this was a special one. And also, they are great. Again, you don't do it all the time, but from time to time when you want to celebrate or with friends that enjoy smoking, that's what cigars are for. To compartir, to share with your friends, that's what it's all about.
The ability of a cigar to bring people together is one of its defining features. I mean, of course, many of us enjoy smoking alone in meditation, overwork, but I think one of the greatest, inflections of Habanos or a Cuban cigar is its ability to bring people together.
Yeah, I through the years, I've been in many dinners all over the world and met all these incredible different types of friends and people that, you don't know the people, but by the end of the night, you became friends. And I've never had a bad experience with somebody that smokes cigars. I've never had anybody that would be like getting difficult. Everything is shake hands and tell me and call me when you come or where I go to see you. And it's a camaraderie.
Yeah.
It's like a big family. We're a big family.
Absolutely.
All the smokers in the world, we're a big family.
Yeah.
And I think it's fantastic. It's
well,
fabulous.
I often say, I've never sat down and smoked a cigar or Cuban cigar with someone that I didn't get along with. And by the end of that cigar, became friends with.
Mm-hmm.
And, what else can you say that for? A bottle of wine, yes, great, but there's just something special, especially amongst gentlemen, of a proper Habanos.
Yeah, you go and you start talking. They say, no, I like the wrapper clear. I like it darker. I want a bigger ring. I like a smaller ring. And then you just talk, and you can go on and on and on and on, and never get bored talking about it.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. I'm so happy and blessed that I got into smoking cigars and I got into the business, and it's really made my life so much good. I'm so really. Yeah. I'm very happy that
I need to somehow work my way into the business, because, the ability to, have access. Right now, of course, supply is such a big challenge, but I think that's the ultimate dream of any cigar collector, is to own a small cigar shop somewhere, even if there's no business, one's just smoking those cigars themselves.
Yeah, and people come to the store and you talk to them, and then you have a coffee, you have a cigar. It's fabulous. People that do everything in your life, and all of a sudden you're changing cards, you're changing phones, emails, and you become friends right away. This is only because of cigars.
Yeah.
I don't know any other thing that gets you so together like with a cigar.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe with wines also. You have a wine club, but this is more like a more closer family.
Yeah. And it's interesting the people you meet. From all over the world. This is a great example. You and I wouldn't be sitting here together if it weren't for the Cigars. Mm-hmm. And I can think of so many fascinating people from all around the world that I've met because of our shared passion for these incredible instruments of pleasure, as Hakim would so eloquently say. Well, what other interesting jars? Because jars are really quite rare. You don't see very many jars being released.
No, and let me tell you, I have to admit, at the very beginning, when they had the jars, the first ones they made was called Noellas. It came in a crystal jar. The first time they did it, we had unfortunately a lot of damage in the jars because the way they used to pack it is not the way they pack today.
Yeah.
Today the packing is incredible today because really we've received many other jars of different things. We haven't had one problem with them. At the beginning, yes, even with this, we had a couple of jars that broke, and then we
sell them as single sticks.
No, we sell them as sticks. People were happy about it because not everybody can buy the jars, no? But no, today the way they pack the things, it's really, really fantastic. I have to give it to Habanos because they are doing a fantastic job in the way they're packing everything now today.
Yeah, I think they're creating some of the best cigars they've ever created right now. I mean, the regionals are all incredibly fascinating. I think there's a little bit of an antiquated reputation or a bad reputation that Habanos has for quality and plugged cigars. But I can't think of any cigars within the last 5 to 6 or 8 years that I've had any problems with.
No, because they knew that there was something wrong because people start complaining.
Yeah,
we distributors and distributors from all over said, I can't believe I buy a box and some cigars are plugged. So they really made a super extra effort to try to make sure that the quality control is great. If the cigar doesn't grow when they put it in the machines, it goes down. It doesn't go to the boxes. And they didn't care how many will not grow out. So now I think every cigar I'm making, I haven't had a problem with running also. Nothing else. And then the last that I would want to show you is the jar that they made to celebrate the 35th anniversary of Cohiba. This was, if I'm not wrong, a dinner we were at the Tropicana Hotel.
Okay.
And it was very exciting because the Comandante was there in the dinner and it made everything, when he gets there, when he used to get there, it was really very exciting to see. And that's when they launched this cigar. And this cigar,
the man had a presence.
As you know, this I have not touched because it's the only one I have.
Let me see wow. Can I smell it? Wow.
And obviously it has the ring of the 3rd anniversary of Cohiba. It's also very, very special because they made, I think, only 1,000 of these jars.
Mm-hmm.
But as you can see, it's the old Cohiba band with the 3rd anniversary on it. But we smoked it in the dinner. They gave you in the dinner obviously a cigar to smoke. But as a jar like this, I think there are very, very few must be now in the world still alive.
Yeah. Well, it was rare. It's difficult with these, very collectible jars because in one hand you have, the collectors that purchase them and they're so special and so rare and unique that they don't want to smoke them, right? And so I think, it's probably more rare to have one opened and to be smoking from it than it is to not.
Yeah, but like I've told you, I always try, when I can, to buy at least 2 of whatever, so because I want to enjoy myself. One, as a collector, I want to keep them intact the way they are. And the other one, what good is it to have it if you don't smoke it? So I try when I can, sometimes I can, sometimes I don't get it. But
as you walk into your humidor, do you ever find yourself struggling, to choose?
Yeah, sometimes when I'm going to go to a lunch or something, for example, I know I have a lunch. I know it's going to be like a heavy lunch. So I try to get a cigar that's going to be strong, that's going to give you a lot of character. And I enjoy that when you have like a big steak and a lot of wine and all that. So you enjoy a strong cigar.
Do you enjoy smoking as you eat, as you're dining, or do you wait until the end of the dinner to?
No, we wait until the end of the lunch. Let's say it's lunch or dinner, because we do both. In Mexico, you smoke after lunch and you smoke after dinner. Fortunately now,
Mexicans are legendary for their very long dinner.
We've been able to do it, and now most of the restaurants have terraces, and you can smoke in the terraces. For a while, it was banned completely smoking, but now if it's separate from the restaurant itself. You can smoke, so people like to smoke,
Yeah.
And for the restaurants, it's good because you smoke a cigar and you have a drink.
Yeah.
So, everybody's happy.
Absolutely.
Otherwise, when it was banned from smoking, people used to go, finish the check, and you go out.
Yeah.
And now people take, because part of the idea is, well, the cigar is a conversation. You have lunch or dinner, and then you light your cigar, and you're having a drink, and it's a way to do it. I mean, it's a perfect way of doing it.
Yeah. As you look back over the last 30 years, what are some of those moments in reflection that you think really stand out to you as kind of pinnacle moments?
Well, I have to tell you, in the dinners we've been in Cuba, the times that Fidel Castro appeared to the dinner, and normally he did not appear for dinner. He came after dinner. But nobody ever knew, is he coming, he's not coming, because nobody knew. But the moment things started vibrating, something has happened, because people felt something. And then when he appeared, it made a completely different thing.
I mean, march of the military.
Really, and you saw him in his military uniform, and the same people like that. Everybody was mesmerized with him. And he usually gave speeches, spoke and all about the cigars, and that he didn't smoke anymore because of public health, but he drinks when he goes to bed, that he was smoking a Cohiba. He made it spectacular. Yeah. And that made a lot of people really, really interested in trying to go to a dinner when he used to go. Not all the time he went, because sometimes he was even traveling, whatever, but it was, when he was there, it's been incredible.
Yeah, and you've got some photographs with it.
Yeah, I was lucky enough to get a couple of humidors signed by him in this Habanos events. And it was talking to him was also an experience.
Yeah, regardless of what you think of Fidel and his politics, right? I think that, you have to divorce politics from people. Fidel as a person, really had a gravitas to him. And his presence was felt.
When he came in, it's unbelievable. Really, you can't even, the place was vibrant. It's like something out of space is coming to the place. Everything, everywhere was, and people started clapping. And when he talked, it was really, really, it made it great. And then the auctions, when he was there, were very good because, as you know, all the money that gets from the auctions goes for public health.
Yeah.
So when he went there, obviously, he made a push, people were really interested, and they got more recaudations when he was there than the times he was not there. It's incredible. But now unfortunately he's gone, and now we have the auctions, and nobody goes. Lately,
the president was there the last 2 years.
Yeah, but for 8-9 years nobody went. But the auction still went on. Things went on. Mm-hmm. And the humidors are now much bigger, much more sophisticated. Yeah. It's not the thing like we used to make. Now it's, you have to be changing with the time. And now they have the great Cuban artisanals that make incredible humidors.
Yeah. Ernesto Aguirre, right?
For example.
Habanos.
Yeah.
Incredible work.
Yeah.
Well, what are some of the, do you look back on any particular humidors that are particularly special to you?
Well, the one that's very special for me, and I tell you, it's not even that you say, wow, what a nice humidor. It's the 150th anniversary of Partagas. It's just a square that has 3 cabinets, and each cabinet has 50 Coronas, 50 109s, and 50 Robustos. The humidor, and it's the first time they made like a system. You had put a bowl of water in the back. It has a little motor. You plugged it in, and it was giving you ventilation for the cigars, which was very. In that time, it was
advanced.
Advanced, but I don't think it's compared to what you have today. It's incredible.
Well, today with the Boveda, it's like you almost don't even need electronic control systems.
But that's a humidor that I have in my heart very much because it's because of that humidor. It's because of that 109 that I smoke of the Partagas when I came with the idea of the 109 for the Conde 109. So it's something that for me it's always in my mind that humidor.
Yeah. What about this humidor right here, the San Cristobal de la Habana? This is sitting on an entire table. It's as much of a work of art.
It's a huge piece. It's a replica of the Castillo que está. It's in Habana Vieja, the castle that's over there. And the funny story is that during the auction, I mean, I was the person who won the auction of the cigar. So I stood up to go, and you can see it here actually, with Fidel. It was congratulations for the Humidor you got. And that particular day, the guest of honor of Fidel Castro was Garcia Marquez, the Nobel Prize in Literature, very, very, extremely famous. So I asked Fidel, I don't know, out of the blue, I said, Comandante, would you mind if I ask Garcia Marquez to sign the Humidor you so kindly signed for me? He said, no, let's go to him. So we walked to him, and in my mind, I said, Comandante is at the top of the pyramid. I don't think nobody would say no to him.
Yeah,
so
no.
Inside of me. But so,
I can't believe he went there with you.
Yeah, he came with me.
Yeah.
And he says, Gabo, and I said, Maestro, would you be so kind and sign for me the Humidor that El Comandante signed for me? He says, no, claro. Bring it here. And he says, no, it's too big. Go over there. So we get to the table where the Humidor was. They opened the box, and it was Fidel Castro's signature already there. And so he asked a pen, so they gave him a pen. And that moment, Garcia Marquez signs it, and Fidel turns to me and says, oye, chico, esto ya vale más. Tiene dos firmas, which means, hey, this is worth much more money now. It has two signatures. So I said, Comandante, always two signatures are better than one.
Yeah.
So he laughed, gave me a hug, and that's the story. But I think it's the only piece there is signed by such an important man like Garcia Marquez and Fidel. So that's also a very nice story.
Yeah. I mean, it's just that era is hard to imagine. I mean, the Habanos Festival, I mean, anyone that is a connoisseur of Cuban cigars, I mean, the festival at the end of February is a pilgrimage. Everyone has to do it at least once in their life.
Yeah.
But to have gone to as many as you have is just, what an incredible lifetime of moments.
And every year, really, I have to, again, chapeau to Habanos, because every year they really work very hard to make something better. Sometimes you say, what better can they do? But now that it's every year, the Pub Expo, which is a fantastic place for an event like this, you can hold 1,200 people under one roof.
Yeah,
and
all smoking.
All smoke. Nobody's going to tell you, no. Everybody's pleased smoking.
Yeah.
And you sit down, you see like the Humidor that's going to be for sale, and they have this incredible music. They have Cuban dances, they have singers, they have dancers, artists, they have a lot of things. A great dinner, and during each plate they would come all these people form, to offer you the cigar for the dish you're having. And then they put you white wine, and then you have the red wine, and then you have. I mean, it's a dinner that could have been taking place in Hong Kong, in Paris, in London, anywhere. It doesn't get better than that. It doesn't get better than that. This last year, they had the village people. I mean, among other things they had in the show, they had the village people, which remember me very well when I was much younger, that they were really the famous group. And they were here, and they never tell you what's going to be like the main event of the. They always keep it very secret.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, everybody was like unbelievable.
Well, Cuba's really good at keeping state secrets, and as you say, I've had the privilege of only being to 2 Habanos festivals, and each time, even kind of knowing some people within Habanos, I haven't been able to, get that to slip any lips.
No, nothing.
Yeah.
But that's good. I think it's good that nobody knows anything, and all of a sudden you get shocked when you see who's coming out in the show, no? But it's a complete show. I mean, it's really, really, really beautiful. The setting, the way the illumination,
with the entertainment.
And imagine 1,200 people smoking, and it's not one cigar. Nobody, not to complain because you're there because you want to.
Yeah.
But everybody's happy. Everybody's happy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Everybody's happy.
Everyone's happy.
So we're looking forward for the next Habanos Day.
We were just in London recently for the Habanos World Days, where Hunters and Francal and, of course, Gemma, threw an absolutely fantastic 3-day event, Trinidad panel, of which you and I were both on. I really, it was an imposter, on that stage amongst legends such as yourself and Edward Sahakian. But then we had that gala dinner.
The gala dinner at the Victoria Albert Museum, which was incredible. I mean, having a dinner in the Albert Museum, in Victoria Albert Museum, I mean, it's once in your life. I mean, I don't
Black tie.
I don't think it happens twice,
Yeah.
in your life to be able to go to an event like this.
Yeah.
In a museum, sensational. Just that, as this year we celebrated the 55th anniversary of Trinidad, I wish we can be together and enjoying the 75th anniversary of Trinidad,
Yeah.
and be healthy and smoking, and every time more people to be joining us and enjoy the cigars that really has changed my life. And
Likewise.
I say hooray to the people who smoke.
Well, I mean, we must give it to the Cuban people for putting what I think is really their passion and their hearts and their souls into the tobacco. There is no step of the entire process from, as you say, the seed being sowed into the land, to the tending of the fincas in the crop, all the way to the torcedores and the people that are boxing them up.
Yeah, and I would agree to please thank everybody in Cuba, since the people who put the seed, los campesinos, until everybody in Habanos, everybody to the president of Habanos, to all of them, the marketing people, the commercial people. We thank you so much because you've made our lives very, very happy.
Absolutely. Well, Max, I mean, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for the generosity of sharing these incredible cigars, with me today, and with your stories, with everyone that's watching. It's such a privilege to be here and to just have you share, these stories from your life, which is an incredible life of just pinnacle moments. So, Max, thank you.
No, thank you. It's an honor to be with you. And again, thank you again. And let's say young smoking.
Yes. Here's to, great cigars and many more great cigars together.
Yeah.
Thank
and
you.
Good health.
In good health.
And good health.
Well, one's health is always better smoking.
Yeah,
you're a great example of that. I'm going to use you as a poster for my wife that, of how smoking such great cigars keeps us forever young.
Yeah. Young at heart and young at mind.
Yep. Thank you, Max.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.